Again, I will only use notes and not a prescribed text. Sorry for that, but I will try to restrict myself, as in the last video of Sanhedrin I tried to reach all critical points, but I will just focus on the more interesting ones. So, chapter 2 is mostly about the king's function and that kind of things. Uh, First, it is discussed that the king is above the law, or more precisely, outside the law. He cannot be judged and cannot judge. That's why he's outside and not just above the law. Now, there is this typical thing that attributed to Jews, that it's all about the money for them. Well, there is one verse that says, "And hide thyself from them," e.g. when his work is of greater value than his neighbor's loss. This is returning some object and things extrapolated from that. So when it doesn't verse returning the thing is when they cost more than the font equipment price, then you don't have to return it. I find this a nice little thing. And there is angel invoking thing here when Gabriel comes and smites some judges. There is a discussion about the incident of David and the Philistine foreskins. There was David had to pay a certain amount of Philistine foreskin for her wife to Saul. Now in the Talmud there is yet another story where he pays another sum of foreskins, and they discuss what it was, and it seems related to this. They discuss the verse of silver in the country. In one passage in the Bible it says it was countless, so it was nothing, was the nothing, and in another it was like pebbles. Any normal brain would say that's the two things. It was so bloody a lot that blah blah blah. Now the Jewish thinking thought, oh, countless, there is a difference between countless and pebbles, because pebbles are actually real things, and they have, although minimal, have some value. Just crazy, I say, but these are the Jews, so let's know them. Interesting other culture, that's why we go visit foreign countries, villages, people, just for curiosity, just on curiosity. Yes. There is a long discussion about some bed of the domestic genius. This domestic genius is the lucky ghost of the house. An interesting thing. Seems the Talmud is full of this demon invoking thing, although this is there is no really invoking ritual, but there is a lot more spiritual beings, mythical beings than in the Bible, it seems. Also this section tells about leading a voluntary war. This kind of war is about the voluntary war is waged merely with the object of extending territory. So that's about Judaism being the all-peaceful religion of the world. Yeah, we already suspicion that, but now we have proof here. Also the mention of cutting the seed of times. Now back to more interesting topics. There is that Solomon ruled over the whole world, the whole fucking earth, and even the spirits. I think that's the dead people's soul, and the angels. He governed the angels. Yes, he was so fucking genius. And you know, there was two contradictory passages where said Solomon had 4,000 horses, stables, and the other said Chronicles versus Kings, Book of Kings. The other said 40,000. Now the Jews, with their mind, multiply the two numbers because both have to be true. So we end up with 160 million horses. They all had were associated to the army. They were in use because the king cannot have horses only what are just for the show. They have to have use. Now there is a famous, somewhat famous accusation on the Jews that they can have 18 wives. Now this only applies on the kings. So this is a misapplied accusation because the commoner Jews who are not kings, and I think not well, not commoner Jews, old Jews who are not the kings can have unlimited wives. There is no restriction in numbers on Jews other than the king. Only the king is restricted to 18 wives. Yes. Also there is some sex and violence I wish to mention, where it is said that David had this daughter Tamar, and he was born from a Yephat Toar. These are captive women taken as concubines by the king because of their beauty. This is rape. And just one last thing I wish to mention, because there are a lot of other things, but time is limited here to things actually. That there was a special kind of crown, and only who could wear that, because David's descendants had a special shape of head, should can be as we don't have the crown anymore, there cannot be the king of the Jews anymore. Also there is a mention of hairstyle of the high priest, but it isn't described, and no drawing is attached to the text, so I don't know how they think so. There is but a typical Jewish claim that don't use the translation of the translation of the translation. Well, actually it seems the Torah depends on what we consider. This refers to the Tanakh or the Pentateuch or the two. It mentions that it is translation of the translation. Originally it was Hebrew, with Hebrew characters and Hebrew language, and it was translated to Assyrian language with Assyrian symbols, and then it was translated to Assyrian language with Hebrew symbols. So don't accuse anyone because it's baseless. This translation of the translation is a useless thing. Goodbye.